Today, let's answer an important question. Is the iPad Pro worth it? So you may have seen last week I unboxed the new iPad Pro, and over the last week I've had some time to get to know how it works, how to use it. And I can honestly say that it is completely overkill for almost anyone out there. You don't need something that's the size of Donald Trump's bank account. For most people, a regular iPad is just fine. 9.7 inches is fine. But the iPad Pro doesn't necessarily compete with the regular iPad. Let me explain. The most important part in the name of the iPad Pro is not the iPad, but the Pro. That's who this iPad is designed for. Professionals. If you're a professional, so you need to be reading documents, you need to be looking things up, you need to be taking notes, the iPad's screen real estate is unbelievably helpful. If you're in a document, looking and reading and being bored, and you want to swipe over and bring in your notes so that you can take note of what you're doing as you're seeing it, without having to switch back and forth between applications, it's fantastic. And the power of the iPad Pro really helps with this. The A9X chip is almost as fast as an Intel Core i5, but it runs a lot cooler, which means that it's less straining on battery life and more powerful than it would in a regular iPad. Now, of course, I have to show you some numbers so that you believe me. Here they are. It's pretty good. The picture-in-picture format of videos is actually very nice as well. Because you have so much screen real estate, it's sometimes hard to fill it. So I find it very nice to be able to pop a video into the corner so you can be working on something and also watching a video. You could even be learning with an informational video while you're working on taking notes on it. A lot of apps, however, at this point are not really ready to take advantage of this massive screen. The YouTube app, for example, just looks like someone took the iPhone app and blew it up 400,000 times. It's huge! So, as of right now, a lot of applications are not optimized to take advantage of all the extra screen real estate. But the ones that are fantastic. If you try to use the iWork suite, you can have pages and numbers, and I don't know why you would want to do that, but apparently some people do. And you can have them both, side by side, working on both of them. You could be entering numbers and then writing about them. The question still remains, however, if the iPad Pro is not competing with the iPad, what is it competing with? The simple answer is two things, actually. On one hand, the Microsoft Surface, and on the other hand, the conventional laptop. The Microsoft Surface has some things that are better than the iPad Pro. For example, a full desktop operating system, an actual Intel Core i5. But is that really necessary? Because the iPad Pro, depending on how you spec it, could be cheaper, I should say, could be less astronomically expensive than a Microsoft Surface. So what you really need to be thinking about when you're choosing between the two of them is, do you want a more simplified user experience, or do you want your full desktop operating system? That's the really big deciding factor between these two devices. Now, how about compared to a laptop? Well, the iPad Pro over here, and the laptop over here, you can see that compared to a 13-inch MacBook Pro, the length and width of the iPad Pro is almost spec for spec. What this means is that if you want to do certain productivity things like Microsoft Office or iWork or PDFs, you could do that on the iPad Pro that takes up the same amount of space as the MacBook Pro, but is thinner and is lighter and is a lot less expensive. So you'll find that the iPad Pro, while expensive for a tablet, is not nearly as expensive when compared to a high-end laptop. It's a lot to take in, but you really need to be weighing several factors when you're deciding whether or not the iPad Pro is right for you. You need to compare it to a laptop. You need to compare it to a Surface. You need to compare it to your everyday use for productivity. And you need to compare it to the fact that it's so humongous, it's almost absurd to think of it as a tablet. It seems to be a trend these days with the Surface and the iPad Pro of charging us a lot of money and then omitting the keyboard. See this? This is a laptop. When I buy a laptop, I get a screen, but I also get this. This is called a keyboard. I like to use it for typing. Apparently, not all the companies realize this. That's why you get this increasing number of keyboardless touchscreen things that cost a lot of money, and then they want you to pay extra so that you can type on it? In summation, if you're looking for a tablet that's huge and is very suited to a professional work environment, look no further than the iPad Pro. It really covers everything that you would need in a professional and still portable environment. If you're looking for a high-powered, high-functioning, versatile business, gaming, and multi-purpose thing, you really are better off getting a laptop because you do get a full operating system, which you do not get on the iPad Pro. So thanks for watching this sort of scatterbrained summary of whether or not the iPad Pro is worth it. To me, it kind of makes sense. I hope that you'll be able to make sense out of what I just said. If there's anything you'd like to add in a constructive way, make sure to post that down in the comments so that other people can see what you think. And as usual, don't forget to follow me on Twitter @LukeMiani. Make sure to like this video and share it with all your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to catch more videos from me every week.